4,222 miles this is done.
And the other one?
7,605.
Still low, well.
Both low.
Both low, yeah. So the thing that's amazing on this one is that tail fin.
They call it the blown spoiler because it's blown upwards and it allows more air to, more downforce at the back as well as bigger airflow through the back, which comes out here.
Okay, so the structure of this will have changed because of the model as well, though. So to actually do something like that might not be as possible as we think, or would it?
Yeah, so essentially it's a cutout here.
Okay, so they could do that.
Fibre fins.
Even if it, yeah, so you're pretty sure that could, it won't be cheap, but that can be done.
So the piece effectively has a different spoiler and rear bumper, because the rear bumper on there, if you look where the spoiler comes up, it then has a valance across the back in carbon fibre.
So what about a compromise where someone actually could...
I've seen a 488 GTB that had a carbon fibre blown spoiler.
And you're looking at probably $4,000 or something, I guess, or something. You don't know, but it can be done.
But I've seen it be done.
So the only, I mean, actually, this bit's, is this bit different as well on both?
Yep. So you've got a different shape because the duct goes to do different avenues because the engine layout's slightly differently. So you've got one that goes in for cooling and one actually for engine intake. Whereas the Pista has more coming in here and less up here, which I can show you the shape.
So in 1 year there's been quite a lot of innovation, and as the...
It's purely because this is a special version of the car. So it's the same car, but it's a lightweight version. You can see here, you've got smaller intake up at the top and along the side, and a lot more going into the engine because it's a higher tuned engine. So rather than 660, it's 710.
Okay. So if you had to sort of compare the two and there's beauty in both, what do you think is better on the red one and the pearlescent one? Just your taste, in other words.
It's your taste. I like this colour. I've had a customer, my first atelier, which is where you go to factory and spec a car, my first atelier and their first atelier, we did this colour, 296. So I have a bit of a...
What about this? Do you prefer this, or do you prefer it as it kind of was, or...?
In performance, it is very beneficial.
Yeah.
In terms of convenience, you lose access to the front tub. So
aesthetics though, in terms of beauty, do you prefer this as
That's a beautiful car. This is an aggressive car. That's where
so it's like a DB7 versus a DB9 almost in Aston Martin talk.
Or maybe even looking at it in a harsher point of view, like looking at a Vantage and then a CEO edition, where you get the wing and you're creating an aggressive version of the car.
So it's crazy, a second-hand version of this has gone up in price.
Yeah,
it's mad, isn't it?
Last year they were even topping over 400.
Is that partly because of the waiting list as well, or just the scarcity alone, or?
So scarcity. So when they built it, so they don't build these anymore. They haven't built them since 2020. The coupe was a limited run. Then the Spider is always even shorter limited run of it. So if you're lucky enough to get invited, and then you're part of this higher end club that can get invited for the Spiders, essentially.
Is this the most beautiful car they've ever made, would you say then, or can you think of one other than the Ferris Bueller?
Getting all the old 250 GTOs and stuff like that. You're probably not wrong in terms.
I mean, the one I saw at that garage I told you near Preston, they had one that was 1.5 to 2 million. A black one, I don't know what that was, I can't remember what it was. But to me it was beautiful, but I don't think it was as beautiful as these really. So.